Hello everyone, welcome to this channel. I am Lily and today I'm going to show you how you can successfully start a tribe in 10K BC, including the group setup, the food gathering and also keeping up with knowledges and repairs. Right, so we are just going to go beginners and normal because this is what most new players start with. So we are going to go medium France and just remember, new players, find water to settle by. As soon as you've landed, find a place to make your camp, just any place really. I like being close to the water, but you can go wherever you like. To start with, we're going to get a few groups, and these groups are just going to be the groups that needs to work this day. So we are of course going to get logs. We do not add sticks yet because we're going to use the clear tool to get sticks, and of course then we're going to add stones. Don't need a ton. Just leave 2 people per group. Then we use the clear tool to get first of all sticks, and then we're gonna click in a few stones as well, because these are the things we're going to need: stones, sticks and a log. I like to up the work hours and the work age, and when everything is built day 1, then I lower the work hours only. So get down the big fireplace, it gives less unrest, and also of course the only building we can build on day 1, which is of course the pelt hut. The crafters are going to do find sticks only, because we will have sticks coming into camp and then they can be useful like that. So one of the things with 10K BC is that you start with only 7 people. So one of the things that I think some new players do wrong is that they have too many groups and too many people that they are trying to get to work in those groups, and of course that won't work. And when you've reached the amount you wanted for sticks, then you use your Alt on the clear tool and circle the area used again. And when you have enough stone, then you just X out whatever gathering is left under the tribe tasks. And of course also lower the work hours. If you want to, on beginners, you can probably keep the work hours really high all the time, but as a rule of thumb, we should not do it. Right, and then now we are day 2. That means we can give more tasks and more people to the crafters, because we are going to need more fine sticks, we're going to need ropes, and we're also going to need the wooden spears. Otherwise we cannot get the hunters working. Right, and also now adding the sticks to the log group. We're going to add the plant fiber for the ropes here in this group to start with. When we get more people, then we are going to have their own group for crafter materials. So the groups in ancient cities work based on priority. So if you create groups but do not add any tasks to the groups, then it won't work, then nothing will get done. You need to task them with things that they should gather, and then you should really put limits. If you are overproducing, you can put up to 9,999 limit, but that is kind of never needed. So you base your limits on the usage on the tribe. And this of course will have to be adjusted as you go along. And the groups that need tools to work for now are just the hunters. Hunters cannot hunt unless they have at least wooden spears. You do have a few groups that do not need to be tasked with anything. It's enough that you're actually creating a group and making sure they have at least one work spot. That is the lumberjacks and the fishermen. Every other group needs to be given tasks either via assignment or via you selecting tasks from the selection tab. Also, the groups that does need tools to do their job is of course hunters and also the lumberjacks. Fishermen do not need tools, but they are of a group type that will do a better job with better tools. So they can do the work, but they will perform better if they have tools. And that kind of goes for all the groups. So we have also created a straw group because we need to build more housing, and also for the purpose of spreading the knowledge, because as per usual we need to go over the tribe and see how many has architecture and how many has stoneworking, because these two types of knowledges tend to be only divided on one person. Then it is our job to make sure that we create tasks to spread this knowledge in the tribe. So what you could do is to basically create a builder group and call it whatever you like, housing, architecture, whatever, and then assign the current peltop to that group. That means they will only repair it and nobody else. And then when we have the materials we need, both the ropes and the sticks and also the straw, then we can start building these small straw huts. I also have a straggler group that all the people with no other tasks can go in, and you can see that the priority on the straggler group is at the very lowest. This guarantees that whoever joins that group has no other tasks anywhere else, because this group has the lowest priority of absolutely all. When we are going to take care of the knowledges and spread them, we need to make sure that all the knowledges are covered with items that they need to work on. For instance, a peltana will give them leatherworking, so that's covered. And don't be afraid to take the migrants that has any skills. Don't worry too much about their grades yet. Worry more about the skills they bring. And we're also going to place down dryers. We're going to place a dryer for raw meat and also a dryer for raw fish, because that will give food processing. So then we will have covered both tanning, leatherworking, and also of course food processing. And we are now going to adjust the groups, but only a little bit, because we only got 2 more people. So don't create more groups and don't necessarily add more resources, because we are going to be very busy with first getting things up and running, and then we are going to work directly on knowledges. At the same time, we of course need to pay attention to the food income, because we do not want to waste any of the food. And as we are working and people are doing some of the communal chores, they are all learning skills and they're all having some discoveries of their own. Don't worry too much about the bad grades. If they have increase in skill, just take them, really. Right, so the straggler group can give you a hint of how many free people you have to do other things. So when you reach 0 in the stragglers group, it means that now you have no more free people. But if you have 1+ in the straggler group, it means you can afford to give more people to either the existing groups, or like I just did, create a new group which is going to be crafted materials. I task them with the plant fiber, because we are also going to create a stone and a stone fencing group all in one, and let them do the graves or just the stone fencing. I'll see what I decide. The architecture guys are going to build small straw huts, but you can see that we now have 3 more types of housing grayed out. So this is something we are going to work towards discovering ourselves and not wait for migrants. You don't have to wait for migrants to discover grayed out items, because it means the timeline is correct for these items. You just need to learn them. If a migrant comes with them, sure, fine, but you don't need it. You can discover all grayed items yourself. The only thing you need to do is to make sure that people are continuously learning the skills, and that you are creating enough tasks for people to do the skilling up. Let's do some more of the ropes, because now we have added more plant fiber to its own group. So now they are doing only plant fiber, and we're going to need more ropes because we're going to mass produce housing. So what we want is that the guy who is doing the architecture has so much work that he never leaves the group. And this guy will learn the skill and also develop it. As soon as we can make more housing types, then we're going to open up for more people. At the moment, we could really only afford having one people doing it, because we need also people to gather materials. So bit by bit, we're going to get there. It is a bit important to accept migrants, because if you're just going to stay 7 people for a long time, it's going to take a very long time for you to learn, and you need to teach the entire tribe all the skills, so that when people die from old age, they won't take with them to the grave the knowledge that they have. Right, let's get down more pelt huts, because now we have 6 more leather, meaning we can make 1 more. So this will also give, of course, architecture, and since there's only 1 hut left, we need to make sure that he does not run out of work. So I'm going to chuck down a few more of the small straw huts. I have placed limits on the fishermen and removed the roots from the gathering group, because the fish now is dry, but it's still over halfway rotted, and roots are so hated that we should only really harvest it if it's life and death, starvation really. So going over the members, we see that we now have still only 1 with architecture, but we have several with all the others except stoneworking. So we are going to create a stoneworking group and just basically create some stone fences, because that is the only thing we can do at the moment that will grant stone working, because we can when we get stone axes work on stone working with the crafters as well, and also with those who build houses, because the stone pit huts also demand stone working, but at the moment the fences are all we have. Also going to give these people mud, because I just placed down 2 offerings. Offerings is something that you must have very early on, in hardcore at least. You can get away with not having too much of it in beginners and expert, but if you are going to, for instance, have high work hours, then I recommend to give them somewhere they can pray, so some of the unrest goes away. Placing down even more. I'm just going to keep chucking down until he reaches new levels, and hence new types of housing that we can build, because we do want to develop away from the small straw hut and also, of course, the pelt huts. Yeah, let's just take whatever there is of migrants. We are covering it well with the housing, because we are skilling up anyway. So keep an eye on the food. You can see we have many days of food left, and there we go. There we just got some more architecture, so now we can create the straw pit huts and also the pits. Pits are also giving architecture. So now I'm going to create the stone fences, and we're going to have a group for that, and we're going to give them as task as just basically build a fence around the graveyard. Yeah, a lot of people do that. It is totally legit. Totally legit. With this being the beginners, we get away with not having any limits yet, and we don't have to be uber careful with the food. But if you are going to play like this on hardcore, then you will have to be much more careful, and you will of course have to migrate a lot sooner. So yeah, now we can do the straw pelt pit huts. I almost said the straw pit huts. Let's get down a few of those and add 1 more person, because now we've had enough migrants to afford more people doing the skilling tasks. So now we are both spreading and also developing. So now we have plenty work put down, but what we're also going to do is that now that we have the straw pit huts, we are going to dismantle the small straw huts, because now we need to think about their repair materials. It is not worth it to have a negative straw huts using up material that a positive straw pit hut can use. Oh, look at that, we got also now more woodworking skills. So let's get down a bench. A bench is woodworking skills, so then we are adding another task for the tribe to skill up their woodworking. I also gave the crafters free reign in what they want to craft, so they will be covering weaving, they will be covering of course woodworking, and also tool smithing. This was actually going to be a proper playthrough, but my voice is so broken after having COVID, and in week 2 now. I'm slowly starting to get my voice back, so I'm not going to make 6-hour playthroughs yet. It's just not going to work, so I'm just going to make it very, very short. It won't even be half an hour. So as long as we keep getting migrants, what we are adding to the tribe is also more skills, and people who has the skills, even if it's not maxed out, because they will learn as they go along. The point that we players need to make is to make sure that there are tasks for everyone to get some skills, some practice on the majority of the skills. Not all knowledges can be learned by everyone. You can get on average between 3 to 4, maybe 5, pending people's grades. So 5 skills is kind of like the average that people learn, between 4 and 5. And now we can also create stone pit huts. So now we are also developing stone working. So now we can divide the tasks on more than just the fencing. We can also do more of the housing, and we of course are going to do that. Yep, let's just take whatever there is. And now this guy has maxed out his architecture as well, so now both of these have maxed out their architecture. Now we have 2 fairly young people who are carrying on with the architecture. I paused the fishermen earlier because we had so much we need to eat up what there was, because both the fish and the meat was starting to get close to halfway rotted away, and then that's quite a good indicator that you are producing too much. Right, you can see there's still plenty stone fencing to do, so they will continue to work on the stone fencing. And you can see that we have 0 idle people, meaning everyone is working because I created a straggler group. So now we have covered all the housing that this timeline can offer. And there we got even more stoneworking. Now we can do both the tridents, that is woodworking, and also of course the stone axes, which is stoneworking. So giving your crafters free reign when you have the material for it in the beginning is not a bad idea. Some people will say it is spamming. I will say it is creating tasks so people can learn skills. However you choose to play it is up to you. But this is just how I do it when I start in 10k BC, to make sure that my tribe gets all the skill they can as quickly as possible. You play as you see fit. So now it's time to divide the materials we are using for housing evenly, so that not everything is only with one type of resource. What a lot of people do, if you can get away with it, sure, build whatever you like. A lot of people do the same material, they only use straw, and that is not really something you can do long term in a Mesolithic setting. Basically because in the Mesolithic we are supposed to migrate. We're not supposed to stay forever because the environment will quickly diminish. So we are going to do the stone pit huts, you can see, because then we have added stone to the repair materials. At the moment we have straw, we have leather, and now we also have stone. So we're also adding pelt pit huts. So we are having less on the straw and more on the leather, because we are actively hunting. We always have a hunter going. So as long as we can keep up with the repairs, you can use whatever material you like. But I like to divide it on several different types of repair materials, because whatever you build with does not need to be redone. You don't need more materials to build. You only need the last material on the list as repair material. And that's what you need. And that is basically it. So what I've shown you is how I start a 10k BC tribe with only 7 people. Remember to not make too many groups, and do not give too many people too many tasks. Put your limits on food whenever you're starting to overproduce, which is roughly when the decay circle is reaching halfway. Start creating objects for skilling as soon as you have the materials for it. Also adjust the limits that you have, and also adjust your work spots with the increase of tribe, whether it be by births or by migrants. Vary also your housing to spread the material usage, and if you do this, you can stay a lot longer than you might have thought in a Mesolithic setting. It's got to be